I believe you can see my screen now. Put it on the chat box if you can see my screen. Now that you can see my screen. All right. So last week we looked at filtering in SQL. We look at how we can filter using the where clause and using also like and the likes. So today we want to look at some how we can perform some arithmetic operation in SQL and how can we go about it. So we are going to look at count, maximum, minimum, average, sum, and the likes. So let's start with the total number of employees. So let's assume we want to know the total number of employees in this organization. So how do we go about that? So we are going to make use of the function known as count. So that will be select count, then star as. So now this star that I put there, you can use star, you can use 1, you can use anything you want to use there. So as total. Now, some of you have not taught you how to alias. So as that I put here is alias. Okay, let me not put as first. So you will see how it's going to come out. So select count from employees dot employees. Now you can see that when it came out, the column head came out as count star. So how do I change count star to a name, the name of the column? So that is when I now make use of an alias known as. So I will now say as total employee. So now you can see here that I put an underscore because for the alias, I cannot put a space. There must not be a space. So there is a rule. You must not put a space in the alias. So when I run it now, you will see that the count here is going to change. So let me attempt to run it now. So you can see the count has changed. So you can see total employees. So the total employees in this database is 300,025. Now, let's make use of another function, another arithmetic function. So if we want to look at the total salary costs, the total salary cost of the company, the total salary cost of the company. So for the total salary cost of the company, we are going to make use of a function known as sum. So that will be select sum and what do we want to sum? The salary column in salary here. It has a salary column. That's what we want to sum. So we want to sum the total salary of this company. So let me not put alias again. So from employees dot salaries. So you can see here that is putting that sum salary as the title. So this is the total salary that has been paid by the organization so far. So if I need my work to be neat, then I have to make use of an alias. So I will just say that as total salary costs. Please put down your questions as I'm teaching. So you can see that it changed to total salary costs. So what if we want to know the average salary costs of the company? So the average salary costs of the company. If we want to know the average salary cost of the company, so that will be select. It will now be AVG. So there's a function known as AVG. AVG salary as AVG salary from employees dot salaries. So let me run it now. So this is the average salary of the organization. That's the average salary of the organization. Now, in a situation whereby I want to know, if I want to know the highest paid, let's assume that I want to know the highest paid, highest salary of the organization, of the company. If I want to know the highest salary of the company, so I'm going to make use of, let's say I want to know the highest and the lowest salary. So then I'm going to make use of the function known as maximum and minimum. Maximum and minimum. Maximum and minimum. So how do I go about that? So that will be select. So maximum salary as highest salary. Then minimum salary as lowest salary. So from employees dot employees. Oh, so there's a mistake here because it's case sensitive. So I went to use a capital letter. I'm supposed to use a small letter. There's no salaries. I went to use is salaries table, not employee table. It is salaries table, not employees table. So now you can see this is the highest salary of the organization, and this is the lowest salary of the organization. So this is the highest salary of the organization, and this is the lowest salary of the organization. I believe that you are putting down your questions. So if let me look at other things that we could do with the average salary and the the average salary, and so we've done counts, we've done the average salary, yes, we've done that. So, all right. Now, let's assume, yeah, so we've done counts, we've done maximum, minimum, yes. So now, before I go on, this is what we are going to continue next week as well. Now, if we want to actually, now you will notice that every of the query that I've been doing previously is only one table that I've been making use of. I've just been making use of one table alone. If you look at this, I said from salaries table, from employees table, and that's what I've been using from salary. This one also from salaries table. So, however, how do I combine two tables together? So that is what we know as joining of tables in SQL. So joining of tables in SQL, so we have what we call inner join, left join. These are the basics. And also right join. So now what inner join means, just from the word inner. For example, as I have the employee table and I have the salary table, so what inner join does is that, now if you look at, before I can join any table together, they need to have a column that is common to them. And we call that column a foreign key. You remember our first class, that was 2 weeks ago. We call that column a foreign key. So now when you look at salary table here, is having what we know as employee number, which is a foreign key inside the salary table. The primary key inside this the primary key inside the salaries table is also an employee number, but is also a foreign key, because when you look at the employee number, the employee table here, it is here, and it is a primary key in this place. So before you can link any table together, they have to have one common column. They have to have one common column together before you can link tables together. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? They have to have one common column together. So this has shown us that yes, we can actually link the salary table and the salary table and the employee table together. So what is common between them? That is the employee number, and the employee number in the employee table and the employee number in the salary table. Now, what inner joining does is that it picks all the data here and join it with all the data here. That's for inner joining. Now, left join, what from the word left. So left is when what you start with, the table you start joining it with. So left will, if I'm joining and I start with table employee table, so what left join will do is that it will pick all the data in my employee table and pick only merged data in my salary table, because employee table is the one on the left. So what does right joining does? What does right joining does? What right joining does is that it picks the matched data in the it pick only the matched data on the right, on the left, and all the data on the right. So which is the opposite of left join? Is the opposite of left join. So invariably, you are going to have more data here because it's combining everything. That is inner joining. So somebody might ask, okay, how do I know that I'm going to use maybe, mostly we use inner join and left join most of the time. We don't usually use the right join because it's almost the same thing with the left join. So all you need to do is just to put it on the left. So how do I know which kind of joining I'm supposed to use? Now, to know the kind of joining that you are supposed to use, it depends on the question. It depends on the question. It depends on what you actually want to achieve. So now, if you are told to fetch out all the employee data and the salary data, now, of course, you are going to make use of the inner join. However, if you are only told that, yes, we need employees and just few people salary, of course, you know that you are not going to make use of an inner join. You will make use of a left join. But now let's test what I'm trying to talk about. So suppose we want to join select employee number. We want to join the employee table and the salary table together now. So select employee number, select the first name and the last name. So, and also salary. So now this salary has come from the salary table now. So from employees dot employees, inner join. Now you need to give this table an alias. So I'm going to give it E. You can give it any alias you want, but I'm going to give it E. And I will explain the reason why you have to give it an alias. Now, you need to give it an alias because salary table has employee number. Employee table also has employee number. So how does the database system distinguish which one it must use? How does it distinguish it? No way. There's no how it's going to distinguish it. So then I will now put that alias in front of each of the columns of those tables so that my database system can actually recognize it. So E dot last name. So I am inner joining it with the salary table. So that will be employees dot salary. So let me call these salaries as S. Then I will now put the what's it called? I'll put the alias in front. So on, what am I joining them onto? I'm joining them with the what is common between both, and what are the columns that are common between both? That is the employee number. And so that's why I can say that E dot employee number on E dot employee number equal to S dot employee number. So what I've done here is that I have successfully joined the employee number, the first name, last name, all the details of employee table with the salary table. So let me run this now. So you can see successfully I've been able to join two tables together, and I made use of inner join. Now If I change this to left join, you might not see the difference, but there is a difference. You might not notice the difference, but there is a difference. Because what it will return for me is only the employee table and the table and the column that matches with the salary table alone. That is what is going to return for me. Same thing with the right join, but you might not see it here. If you are working in a company, you will notice the difference, and that's the explanation that I'm making. So why did I teach you this this joining now? Is because next week we are going to do a whole lot of joining. So let's now join. I want us to join departments together. Yes. So now when you look at, because what I want to do next now is I want us to look at departments. So maybe we want to look at departments. This is the code where I will stop. Where average salary exceeds where average salary exceeds 50,000. So we want to know the departments where average salary exceeds 50,000. So how do we go about that? Now, when you look at the departments table here, when you look at the department table here, when you look at the DEMT help table, it has employee number and department number. So the first thing we need to do is to link the department emp with our salary table. So we are going to say that select, because when you look at the salary table is also having the employee number. So select, we don't need the employee number at all. What we need is what? Department in it. So we are going to say that select department number. So let me use an alias for it as department number. Then comma again. Now the question says that average, that is average salary that exceed 50,000. So department number as as department number. Yes, department number. I have aliased it like that. So then average AVG into what? Salary. As average salary. So from employees dot, so from employees dot salary S inner join with employees dot the name of the table here is DEMT emp. So that will be DEMT emp. So let me call this DE. So here I need to name this as S dot, and I need to come and name this. No, I need to name this as DE dot, and I need to come and name this as S, which is the alias. So I have said from employees in a join. Now on. So what is the common column with both? That is what? Employee number as well. So on S dot employee number equal to DE dot employee number. Now, I have not actually answered the question. No. Because when you look at the question, it said that where average salary exceed 50,000. Now, there's a function that, first of all, I need to introduce because I have made use of an arithmetic. And that is, the function is known as a group by function. So why do we need a group by function? How do you know that you need to make use of a group by function? You need to make use of a group by function when you are actually dealing with an arithmetic that requires you to group. Because look at the question. The question states that departments where average salary exceed 50,000. So in that place, we are expected to group by the what? The department number, because we have done an arithmetic. So we are now going to group by the department number. So we are going to group by the department number. So group by department number. So let me run this now. We have not actually answered the question because there's still a function we need to know. We need to use. But let me run this one first. Now, you can see that it has grouped it department for us. So this is the average salary per department. That's the average salary per department. So how do we now filter for those that are exceed 50,000 naira? That is where we are now going to introduce what is known as the having by clause. Having clause. So you know that last week I taught you the where clause. So somebody might want to ask, I've gone for an interview before and they asked me that what's the difference between having clause and the where clause. So you filter, when you filter with something that does not have an arithmetic operation, you can use the where clause. But if you want to filter with something that has an arithmetic, that has a calculation like this average, sum, or anything, you are going to make use of the having clause. So that's the difference between both. So one has to do with arithmetic and the other one has to do with, does not have to do with arithmetic at all. So having average salary, so that's the question, having average salary that is greater than 50,000. So this is how we make use of the having clause. And not the where clause. So you can see here, every salary here is greater than 50,000. Let's say that having salary that is greater than 70,000. So let me change that to 70,000. So you can see that it only returned 3. So lastly, before I check if we have questions, how do we know the names of this department number? How can we know their names? So we have to look for a table that has their name. And the table that has their name is this department. You can see department number and department name. Now, when you check the DEMT EMP, it has employee number and employee and department number. And so the department number here is common to the department number here in the DEMT EMP. So all we need to do is to introduce it here. So we are going to say that department's name. So we are going to say that department's name. So that will be department's name as department's name. Then put a comma. So we will now join that table with it as well. So we are going to say that, yes, on also inner join. So we will introduce another inner join. Inner join employees dot departments. Is it department or department? Yeah, departments. So let me call this D. So that means that I need to come and put the D here on. So that will now be DE dot employee number equal to D dot employee number. Now, you see that we only group by department number. So it is not going to work. We still need to group by the department name as well. So if we don't group by the department name, it will not work. So here now, if I should run this code now, it will not only show us the department number, it will also show us the department names as well. Oh, I made a mistake. I didn't write the employees very well. I went to write double S instead of double E. D dot employee. Oh, what connects them together is department number. Sorry, not employee number. That's what connects them together. Department number. So you can see that it has come up now. So we know the department name, marketing, 71,900. That's the average salary. Finance is 70,156. And it looks like for this company, it is the sales team that has the highest average salaries. So let me look at questions now. It's not compulsory that you put. Why didn't I insert? I don't need to insert because I have the database already. It's not compulsory that you have your select of from in capital letters. You can have them in small letters. You can have them in small letters. It's not compulsory. I don't need to put them in capital letter. I don't need to put them in capital letter. Yeah, thank you. Go to the Telegram group, scroll up, you will see how to set it up, all those images. Thank you very much. When you pay attention, some of you don't want to pay attention. Go through those images one by one, you will get it. Go through those images one by one, you will get it. That's one of your classmates telling you. Go through those images one by one, you are going to get it. When you go through those images one by one, you are going to get it. There's no this is not the first time I'm sending it. So a lot of people have used it and it has worked for them. So it looks like you are the one that is not doing something right. You are the one that is possibly not doing something right then. So any question based on what I've taught now? I've taught you arithmetics, the group by function, joining of tables in SQL. Any question? Okay. Let me do one more example. We can change this to, if we want to know the total salary per department. Now, what I did there is department where average salary exceeds 70,000. That was what I eventually did. So what if I want to know the total salary per department? That is the total salary with department name as well. So how do I go about that? All I need to do is just to edit this, what I've written here. So instead of this one being average, then it's going to be sum. So instead of this to be average, it's going to be sum. And this one, I will change it to total salary. So let me run it now. And that's going to give me the total salary per each of those departments. So this is how much each department have earned in this organization. The customer service have earned this. The development have earned this. The finance have earned this. Human resources have earned this, and the likes. And it's a good advantage for you when you know SQL very well. When you know SQL, and in your place of work, they need somebody that needs SQL, they will not go and hire somebody else. Of course, that's more extra pay for you. The right join is the same thing. If I change that left to right, it will do. It's the same thing. I like, no, it's not safe. You don't just say I want to use inner join. It's not safe. There's nothing like it's usually safe to use inner join. It depends on what you want. Just like I've explained, it depends on what you want. Let me go back to it again. If you need all the data in all these tables, then it has to be inner join. Now let me change this to, now it's because everything is joined here, that's why I'm using an inner join. Let me change this to right join, but it will not make any difference because everything here is joined together, so it might not really, you might not really see the difference of the inner join and the right join. Yeah, you might not really, that's what I said, you might not really see the difference, but in a big data where everything doesn't match. Now, the reason why you are not seeing the difference here is because all the data in the employee table merged with the salary table as well. But in a real company settings, it is not all data in the employee table that is going to match. And that is the truth. Because this is a fake data. I mean, it's not a real company data. The reason why I said that is because, for example, now, if you are working in an organization and you have left, of course, your data might still be appearing as an employee, but you are no longer collecting salary again. So if somebody now does an inner join, if somebody does an inner join, it will bring up your data with it, but with no salary. However, for left join, it will only bring up the employees' data that have salaries alone. That's the difference. So don't say that it's not, don't just put, let me just use inner join. No. What I mean by merge is that, you know, what is common between both? What is common between this employee data and salary data? That is employee number. So it's going to merge, it's going to look at employee the number of those employees, the employee number, whether it matches with salary table, and that is what is going to come together. So if I have employee number that is 11 and I have 12, so I have 1112 in the employee table. So in the salary table, I'm only having 11 and I'm having 13. So for left join is only going to return this 11 alone. It will not return 12 and 13. However, for inner join will return 11, 12, and 13. But when it is right join will only return 11 and 13. Let me explain it again. So if I have let me explain it again now virtually. if I have the employee number that is 11, 12, and I have salary table that is 11 and 13. So what will inner join return? Inner join will return 11, 12, 13. Maybe that will help you to understand what I'm saying. Now, what will left join return? Because my left here is what? The employee table. Left join will only return 11, 12. What will right join return? Right join will only return 11, 13. Do you get what I mean by matched now? Because here in the right table, only 11 matched. So it must return everything on and everything on the left. That's what I mean by all data and the matched data. I believe that you should understand it now. If you don't understand, go and rewatch this on my YouTube channel tonight. I'm going to upload it tonight. Yeah, if it requires, depending on what is needed, if it is required, like I've explained now, I believe you understand it. If it is required, then you have to use it like that. So if it's matched or it doesn't match, you have to use it like that. Like I just explained it now. You have to use it like that. So that's what I just used to explain now. So I believe that with this explanation, you should be able to get it. What the use case for inner join, the left join, and the right join. Any other question? All right then. So next week we are going to do it live on YouTube next week. It's going to be live on YouTube next week. So take note of that. And I will still take attendance as well. Yeah, everyday numbers are reducing. Nobody wants to learn, but everybody wants money. No problem. So we started with counts. So next week we are going to do more of all this arithmetic operation very well, combining it with tables, and we are going to do a whole lot of this. And we are going to combine it with the where clause. So next week we are going to write a lot of SQL code. We'll combine it with the where clause as well. So salary, yes. The average salary, the total salary, we did the sum, the average, the minimum, the maximum, and I taught you the inner join, left join, right join, and so we joined two tables together, combining it with the sum, and the average as well. So right is getting salaries that will show employees being paid, while left employees that are getting salaries. Yes, that's another way. You are very right. So right is those getting salaries. Yes, we show the employees paid. Yes, and left is employees that are getting salaries. So it will return everything in the employees table. That's what it's going to return. It will return everything in the employees table. While for the right, it will return everything in the salary table and also those things that matched in the employee table. That's right. So I'm going to see us next week. So thank you very much for joining. So see us next week.